Hello everyone, my name is Angela and this is my brother Richie.
Hello.
And last week we had started a new YouTube channel where we did week 1 picks for college football. There are still 3 more games to be played for the week 1. But so far, our tallies between me and Richie has...
I picked 70 correct and she's gotten 51 correct. There were 2 games that were canceled due to weather. One was postponed, which is being played as we're recording. Another game is being played later, and then a game on Labor Day.
Right. So now we are going to be starting week 2 college picks.
And before we begin, we will let you know we will be picking the NFL games. We won't go as in-depth with those, but we will have another video picking the NFL games, and we will have another video where I will be going in-depth reviewing this previous week's games and previewing next week's games. But this video is mostly just straight picks.
Straight week 2 college picks. So to start us off, it will be Friday, September 7th. There's just one game, TCU Horned Frogs versus SMU Mustangs.
And I'm going to go with TCU.
For the Friday game, I will be picking SMU. So then now we will be starting on the Saturday games, and there are several Saturday games. Saturday is a busy day. So the first game to start us off is New Mexico Lobos versus Wisconsin Badgers.
And I'm going to go with the Wisconsin Badgers.
And I will be going for New Mexico. The next, Western Michigan Broncos versus Michigan Wolverines.
I'm going to go with the Michigan Wolverines.
I will go for the Wolverines as well. Mississippi State Bulldogs versus Kansas State Wildcats.
I'm going to go with the Mississippi State Bulldogs.
And I will be going for Kansas State. It's either Towson or Towson versus Wake Forest Demon Deacons.
Towson is a 1AA team, and I will be going for the Wake Forest Demon Deacons.
I will be going for the Demon Deacons as well.
If anybody knows the correct pronunciation of Towson or Towson, let us know somehow.
So Eastern Michigan Eagles versus Purdue Boilermakers.
I'm going to go with the Purdue Boilermakers.
And I will go for Eastern Michigan. Liberty Flames versus Army West Point Black Knights. I will go for Army.
And I will go for Army as well.
Nevada Wolfpack versus Vanderbilt Commodores.
I will be going with Vanderbilt.
And I will go for Nevada, just to be contrary, really. Arizona Wildcats versus Houston Cougars.
I'm going to go with Arizona.
I will for Arizona as well. Duke Blue Devils versus Northwestern Wildcats.
I'm going to go with Northwestern.
And I will be going for Duke. Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets versus South Florida Bulls.
I'm going to pick Georgia Tech, but I want USF to win.
I will be going for USF because it's a Florida team, and that's actually in Tampa where we're at. So I will be going for USF. Georgia State Panthers versus NC State Wolfpack.
I'm going to go with NC State Wolfpack.
I will as well. UCLA Bruins versus Oklahoma Sooners.
I'm going to go with the Oklahoma Sooners.
Same here. Holy Cross versus Boston College Eagles.
Holy Cross is a 1AA team. I'm going to go with Boston College.
William & Mary versus Virginia Tech Hokies.
William & Mary is a 1AA team. I'm going to go with Virginia Tech.
And I will go for Virginia Tech as well. Portland State versus Oregon Ducks.
Portland State is a 1AA team. I'm going to go with the Oregon Ducks.
And I will go for Oregon.
Air Force Falcons versus the Florida Atlantic Owls. I'm going to go with Florida Atlantic.
This is a hard one because it's a Florida team and it's a military team. And I said in last week's video that I either would go for a Florida team or if it's a military team, depending who's playing, and it's both. So I guess I'll go for the Air Force since it's military. Kansas Jayhawks versus Central Michigan Chippewas.
Last week, I said if Kansas lost to 1AA Nickel State, then good luck to Kansas winning the rest of the season. And they lost to 1AA Nickel State, so I'm going to go with Central Michigan.
I won that one for Nichols. So I will go for Central. I will go for Central Michigan as well. Arkansas State Red Wolves versus Alabama Crimson Tide.
I'm going to pick Alabama.
And I will pick Arkansas because I think
Arkansas State.
Arkansas State because
it would be an upset.
It would be an upset. And I like picking upsets. All right. Georgia Bulldogs versus South Carolina Gamecocks.
Interesting game. I'm going to go with Georgia.
I will go for Georgia as well. Rutgers Scarlet Knights versus Ohio State Buckeyes.
I'm going to go with Ohio State Buckeyes.
And I will go for Rutgers. Ball State Cardinals versus Notre Dame Fighting Irish.
I'm going to go with the Notre Dame Fighting Irish.
And I will be going for Ball State until Notre Dame plays in a conference. Colorado Buffaloes versus Nebraska Cornhuskers.
Nebraska was one of the games that was canceled, so I didn't get to watch them. So I'm unsure how their new coach, Scott Frost, will do with them. I expect they will do well. However, I'll pick Colorado for this game.
And I will pick Nebraska. Buffalo Bulls versus Temple Owls.
Temple Owls, they lost to 1AA Villanova last week. I'm going to go with Buffalo.
I'll go for Temple. Just in case they win. Maybe it'll be an upset. I don't know. Memphis Tigers versus Navy Midshipmen. I'm going for Navy.
I'm going to go with Navy as well.
North Carolina Tar Heels versus East Carolina Pirates.
I'm going to pick North Carolina.
And I will pick the Pirates. Wagner versus Syracuse Orange.
Wagner's a 1AA team. I'm going to go with Syracuse.
I will go for Syracuse as well. Howard versus Kent State Golden Flashes.
Howard's a 1AA team. I'm going to go with Kent State.
I will go for Kent State. Morgan State versus Akron Zips.
Morgan State is 1AA. I'm going to go with Akron.
I will go for Akron. Lamar versus Texas Tech Red Raiders.
Lamar's 1AA. I'm going to go with Texas Tech.
I will go for Texas Tech. Southern Illinois versus Ole Miss Rebels.
Southern Illinois is 1AA. I'm going to go with Ole Miss.
I will go for Ole Miss. East Tennessee State versus Tennessee Volunteers.
I'm going to go with Tennessee Volunteers.
I will go for Tennessee Volunteers. North Dakota versus Washington Huskies.
North Dakota is 1AA. I'm going to go with the Washington Huskies.
I will go for Washington as well. Iowa State Cyclones versus Iowa Hawkeyes.
Should be an interesting game. I will go with Iowa.
Hawkeyes?
Iowa Hawkeyes, yes.
So, last week you had told the story about the children's hospital being next to one of these Iowa.
Right, so the Iowa Hawkeyes, their stadium is directly next to a children's hospital. And during games, the children can go up to the top floor and actually watch the games from the top floor. During the game, at some point during the game, everyone in the stands, all 70,000 plus including the other team, they will all turn and wave to the children in the hospital.
So I'll go for Iowa Hawkeyes as well because I think that's actually pretty cool. Like I even stated last week. I actually looked it up online. I saw some pictures. That's really cool. Savannah State versus Miami Hurricanes. I'm going to go for Miami.
Yeah, we're going to go with Miami. Savannah State's 1AA.
And I'm going for Miami because it's in Florida.
Yeah.
Youngstown State versus West Virginia Mountaineers.
Youngstown State is a 1AA team. I'm going to go with West Virginia.
Is Youngstown...
They're a decent 1AA team.
So they could win?
Maybe.
I think I'll go for Youngstown. South Carolina State versus UCF Knights. I will be going for UCF because 1, it's a Florida school, and 2, I went to college at UCF.
Savannah State's 1AA, and I'm going to go with UCF.
Maryland Terrapins versus Bowling Green Falcons.
I will go with the Maryland Terrapins.
What does the jerseys look like?
Maryland's red, Bowling Green's orange and brown.
UMass Minutemen versus Georgia Southern Eagles.
Interesting. I will go with Georgia Southern Eagles.
I'll go for UMass. Do you think it'll be a close game or no?
Yeah, it was tough to choose.
Tough to choose. Okay. So I'll go for UMass then. Appalachian State Mountaineers versus Charlotte 49ers.
I'm going to go with Appalachian State.
Is there any reason why?
They're really good. They almost beat number 10 Penn State this past weekend. They took them to overtime.
Oh, that's right. I remember you telling me about that.
Yeah.
I remember you telling me.
Charlotte, they had a good first game. They played one AA team and handled them well. But Appalachian State, I think will win.
All right, I'm going to go for Appalachian State as well. Eastern Kentucky versus Marshall Thundering Herd.
So Eastern Kentucky is 1AA. I'm going to go with Marshall.
I will go for Marshall as well. Clemson Tigers versus Texas A&M Aggies.
This will be one of the games of the day. This could be an upset.
What would be the upset?
If Texas A&M beats Clemson, that would be the upset.
I'll be going for Texas A&M.
I almost want to pick them. I'm gonna have to go with Clemson. And Texas A&M, last week I was wrong. Their starting quarterback is not Nick Starkel. It's Kellen Mond. They were in a battle up to the opener, and Kellen Mond is the starting quarterback for Texas A&M.
Southeastern Louisiana versus LSU Tigers.
I'm gonna go with LSU. Southeastern Louisiana is 1AA.
I'll go for LSU. UT Martin versus Middle Tennessee State Blue Raiders.
UT Martin is 1AA. I'm gonna go with Middle Tennessee.
I will too. Go for Middle Tennessee. Southern versus Louisiana Tech Bulldogs.
Southern is 1AA. I'm gonna go Louisiana Tech.
All right, I'll go for Louisiana Tech. UL Monroe Warhawks versus Southern Mississippi Golden Eagles.
I will go with Southern Miss.
Southern Miss. What are their jerseys?
UL Monroe is like a red and white, and the Golden Eagles are yellow and black. I guess golden, but yellow.
I guess I'll go for the Warhawks. UAB Blazers versus Coastal Carolina Chanticleers.
I will go with the UAB Blazers.
Is this the one with the Coastal Carolina, the Ameritrade guy?
Yeah, Coastal Carolina's head coach, Joe Moglia. He used to be the CEO for TD Ameritrade and quit and became the head coach of Coastal Carolina. Also, Coastal Carolina has one of the coolest fields. Their field is the aqua color. It's really pretty.
I think that's a pretty cool. Actually, both is pretty cool. So, I'm going to go for Coastal. I think I'll go for Coastal.
They could win.
Baylor Bears versus UTSA Roadrunners.
I'm going to go with Baylor.
I'll go for UTSA. Indiana State versus Louisville Cardinals.
Indiana State is 1AA. I'm going to go with Louisville. Or Louisville. Whichever you say. So
how do you say, Louisville or Louisville? I don't know.
Tell us.
Tell us. Yeah, I've heard it both ways. I will go for Louisville or Louisville. Wyoming Cowboys versus Missouri Tigers.
I'm going to go with the Missouri Tigers.
I will go for, I guess I'll just go for the underdog. Wyoming.
This is why the tally.
This is exactly why the tally is off, because I would go for the underdogs. Texas Southern versus Texas State Bobcats.
Texas Southern is 1AA. Texas State is not a very good team. So Texas Southern could win this. I would still pick Texas State.
And I will pick Texas Southern. Florida A&M versus Troy Trojans.
Florida A&M is 1AA. I'm going to go with Troy.
And I will go for Florida A&M. That's the one by FSU, right?
Yeah.
Stanford versus Florida State Seminoles.
Stanford's 1AA. I have to pick FSU.
I will pick FSU as well, but this is probably one of the rare times you might see him pick FSU. Alabama State versus Auburn Tigers.
Alabama State's 1AA. I'm going to go with Auburn.
I will go for Auburn. Western Illinois versus Illinois Fighting Illini.
Western Illinois is 1AA. I'm going to go with the Illinois Fighting Illini.
I will as well. Virginia Cavaliers versus Indiana Hoosiers.
This should be kind of an even game. I'm going to go with Indiana.
What are the colors?
Virginia's like a navy blue and white, like really dark blue, and Indiana's red.
All right, I'll go for Virginia. Arkansas Razorbacks versus Colorado State Rams.
I'm going to go with the Arkansas Razorbacks.
So I will go for Colorado State. Colorado State. Kentucky Wildcats versus Florida Gators. I'm going to pick Gators.
Yeah, I'm going to pick the Gators as well. They looked really good in their opening game.
When their score like...
They won 53-6 in that first game. And it was under head coach Dan Mullen, who is the new head coach of the Gators, after previously being the head coach at Mississippi State and the offensive coordinator for the Gators prior to that. And he looked really well. I will break down those games in my review.
Utah Utes versus Northern Illinois Huskies.
I'm going to go with Utah.
What are the colors?
They're pretty much both red. Northern Illinois has more like red and black, and Utah's red.
That does not help. All right, so I will... Are they both even?
If Northern Illinois would be a bit of an upset, and they could pull it off.
I will be going for that upset.
Northern Illinois is usually one of the better teams in the MAC.
Maine versus Western Kentucky Hilltoppers.
Maine is 1AA. I'm going to go with Western Kentucky.
I guess I'll go for Western as well. Florida International Golden Panthers versus Old Dominion Monarchs. I will be going for FIU.
Yeah, I'm going to pick FIU also.
But your reasoning is not because they're in Florida.
No, I think they're a better team.
Incarnate Word versus North Texas Mean Green.
Incarnate Word is 1AA. I'm going to go with North Texas Mean Green.
I will go for North Texas as well. Fresno State Bulldogs versus Minnesota Golden Gophers.
So this is an interesting game. Minnesota is in the Big Ten. Fresno State is one of the best teams in the Mountain West. And Fresno State, if they win, it would be a bit of an upset. But they very well could win. You know what? Let's go Fresno.
Fresno? Which one would be upset?
If Fresno wins, that would be an upset. However, a slight one, like as I said, Fresno State, they're one of the better teams in the whole group of five. So they very well could win this.
All right, I will go with Fresno as well, if it'll be an upset. Penn State Nittany Lions versus Pittsburgh Panthers.
This should be even, state rivals. Penn State has a good quarterback. They struggle on defense. Pittsburgh is usually pretty solid defense. So I'll go with Penn State.
I will go for Pittsburgh.
Okay.
Tulsa Golden Hurricane versus Texas Longhorns.
Texas was upset this weekend. Tulsa's going decent on offense. Tulsa could take this one, but I think Texas bounces back, and I think Texas will win.
What about Tulsa?
They're a pretty good offense usually. They got a shot.
I'll go for Tulsa. New Mexico State Aggies versus Utah State Aggies. Aggies versus Aggies.
Mm-hmm. It's a bit interesting. Utah State, they lost their first game, but they Utah State Aggies almost upset Michigan State in Michigan State.
Man, that would have been awesome.
That would have been because Michigan State's ranked 11th. Where they were. And I'm going to say Utah State wins this game against New Mexico State.
Yeah, I would pick Utah State. South Alabama Jaguars versus Oklahoma State Cowboys.
I'm going to pick Oklahoma State Cowboys.
I will go for Oklahoma
State.
Oklahoma State. Nichols versus Tulane Green Wave.
Nichols is 1AA, but Nichols did beat Kansas. That was one she got right over me. Tulane Green Wave as a decent running game. We're going to go with Tulane.
Does Nichols have a chance, or was just Kansas that bad?
Both. I think Nichols. I think Nichols probably has a chance.
Nichols would be the underdog, though.
Yes.
Would it be an upset?
Yes.
All right, I'm going for Nichols. I'll just keep with Nichols right now. Southern Utah versus Oregon State Beavers.
Southern Utah is 1AA. I'm going to go with Oregon State.
I will go for Oregon as well. Oregon State. Cincinnati Bearcats versus Miami of Ohio Redhawks.
Cincinnati had a minor upset this past weekend, beating UCLA. I'm going to go to Cincinnati over Miami of Ohio.
All right, I'll go for Cincinnati. USC Trojans versus Stanford Cardinal.
That'll probably be the game of the day. Game day will probably be there. Although Stanford, both teams struggled in their first games last week. I'm going to go with USC.
I'll go for Stanford. UTEP Miners versus UNLV Rebels.
UTEP, you went 0-12 last year. They played a 1AA team and lost 30-10. Good luck, UTEP. You're in that group with Kansas. If you guys, I hope you guys don't play each other because that'll be a pillow bowl.
A what?
The pillow bowl.
A pillow bowl. What does that mean?
Like,
A
it'll be
pillow?
like a pillow fight.
Like a pillow fight?
Yeah, because both teams suck. So, that being said, I'm going to go with UNLV, who actually looked pretty decent against USC. Held their own for a while. So, I'm going to pick UNLV.
So UTEP, if they won, would be an upset.
It'd be an upset.
You know, I'm going to have to go for UTEP now. Sacramento State versus San Diego State Aztecs.
Sacramento State is 1AA. I'm going to go with San Diego State.
Okay, so...
By the way, San Diego State, they gave Stanford a good run. And last week, I told you guys watch out for the running back for San Diego State, Juwan Washington. He ran for over 100 yards against Stanford.
And that is something you will go in more in depth
I will talk more in depth about it, but
in his other video.
yeah. But I'm just saying, another San Diego State running back. Watch out for.
And I will go for San Diego as well. UConn Huskies versus Boise State Broncos.
I'm going to go with the Boise State Broncos.
And I will go for Boise State because they have the blue field. California Golden Bears versus BYU Cougars.
This is interesting. BYU upset Arizona this past weekend. And Cal won their first game. I'll give the edge to Cal.
So you're going for California. And I will go for... So BYU could be an underdog?
I'm not sure. Because it's in BYU, and they're probably about even.
Alright, well then I will go for BYU. Michigan State Spartans versus Arizona State Sun Devils.
This is an interesting game. It's a late night game. Arizona State looked good in their first game under Coach Herm Edwards. And Michigan State struggled with Utah State. I'm going to pull the trigger and say Arizona State gets the upset.
So, and who are you going for?
I'm going to pick Arizona State. They look good. Game 1, Michigan State struggled versus Utah State.
I'm going for Arizona.
State.
Arizona State.
I'm correcting her because fans will get mad. It's like calling Florida State Florida.
Oh, I don't want to do that.
You don't want to call Arizona State, or vice versa.
San Jose State Spartans versus Washington State Cougars.
San Jose State Spartans, they suck. Washington State Cougars will win. If Washington State is not up by at least 30 by halftime, then I will be surprised.
I will go for Washington State. Rice Owls versus Hawaii Rainbow Warriors.
Rice Owls looked better against Houston this weekend. They did lose, but they were competitive. Hawaii, their first 2 games, they've looked phenomenal, almost unstoppable on offense. So I'm going to go with Hawaii.
I will go with Hawaii as well. So that is all the picks for week 2 of the college football. And like we stated at the beginning of the video, look out for our next video. We will also be doing picks for the NFL.
And watch out for my videos where I will go in depth with the games that happened this past weekend and previews for the games next weekend. Also, I would like to say my sister Angela put up the charts at the end of the videos last week and misspelled a bunch of names, and I did not realize it. I didn't look it over. We corrected them for this week. So we're sorry for any fans that saw your names misspelled. We've corrected it.
Yeah, that was on me because I was listening and I just wrote down what I thought I heard. So that it ends for this week. We will talk to you guys next week for week 3 of the college footballs, and look out for our next 2 videos.